Russia.
Trigger warning, g'day smoothers. This is what I look like when I've just put on sunblock and I'm about to go down to the beach, and the beautiful Emily messaged me with some news. I didn't put breaking news in my header because I'm not breaking it, but also it's a little bit old, but weirdly I did a quick YouTube search and nobody's covered it except for the person Emily put me on to. So I thought we'd just do a quick live, have a look at the news. It's pretty exciting. Not really ready to do the happy dance. Kind of feel like busting out some bubbles though. But yeah, we're just going to get you up to speed on a lawsuit that has come to fruition. The Rzucek family are suing the Armchair Detective, Alan Vinnicombe. He was served back on March the 10th. I had to do a bit of researching before I went live, but yes, good job, Emily. Faux show. Thank you so much, Emily. In fact, I've acknowledged you in the description, and I will explain to everyone where the news was put out there. But yeah, I did a quick search, and considering so many of us came together on YouTube because of the murders of Shanann Rzucek and her two beautiful daughters and her unborn son, I'm amazed that it's not being discussed. I guess everyone's too busy slamming Molly Golightly and Mallory. I saw a comment actually under a video, one of the many, might have been one of the clip channels, just showing what's going on at the moment. And somebody said, how come you guys aren't like doing this sort of stuff but reacting to like politicians and world leaders and people that actually are impacting millions of lives? Like at the end of the day, this is a tiny droplet in the YouTube world. Does it warrant your talents being spent here? And I thought that was quite a good point. But I also know from even Finn and I trying to have a bit of fun and showing you what some of the wackadoo world leaders are up to in batshit, we don't get huge crowds. People just don't want to talk about, stuff that matters, I guess. But yeah, well done, Morgan, for getting here first. And so good to see you. I'm glad you're back from your hiatus. Emily is the champion of the day. She is the champion. She's just coloured her hair. We were getting updates in the chat about that as well. Thank you for hitting all the thumbs up. We can hit the algorithm as long as I've got 50% of the people watching can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Just engage. I'm not very good at asking for likes and subscriptions and stuff like that. So, yeah, I haven't heard a YouTuber yet asking for that stuff without it sounding like they're begging. Even though YouTube tells you you've got to do it, it's not my comfort zone. I mean, I've never been good at tooting my own trumpet. Anyway, so who else have we got rolling in? I saw Blissful has made the live. Woohoo! Well done, Blissful. Good to see you, Groover. And I think Blissful's other half rolled into, yes, Texas HXCX 1965 with Blissful. Good to have you here too. You found it by chance, scrolling. Well done. Yeah, politicians aren't dramatic enough. And, I mean, look, I call it out too, but, I like to do a bit of everything on here. I mean, weirdly, just earlier I got a scam text and I was like, I really should start, because I get them all the time. I guess we all do. But I'm going to start going live and talking about them just to alert people, because even if, you know, you guys can share the little video that we do, looking at them with your friends and family or whatever, but just getting the word out there, and hopefully people won't fall for it. Thank you. You can be my trumpet tutor. Throw up some trumpet emojis. So the lovely Emily messaged me earlier, and I was in the middle of scam baiting. It's a rewarding thing to do. It's not a waste of time neither. I mean, not that, you know, if people just want to go live and chat on YouTube, that's great, but I like to do something productive. So Emily messaged me. I was in the middle of meal prepping for the week and doing my little shopping list for when I go to the shops after I go to the beach, because we're in autumn now, but we're heading into winter, and it's not even 20 degrees Celsius here today, but I've got a wetsuit and there's waves down there. So that's where I'm going to be going. Yes, Humanimal, welcome, gorgeous. How good is this news? But weirdly, no one's been talking about it. But thanks to this YouTuber, who I am aware of and I am actually subscribed to, but I didn't have alerts turned on, I noticed. I do now. So this is lawyer Mystery Maven. And I've heard about her because I sometimes listen to the Glare when I want to clean the bathroom, because he makes me clean 3 times faster than if I listen to music. Because I heckle him, and don't get me wrong, he's on the same page in terms of calling out bullshit on YouTube. I'm all for that. But I heard him the other day saying that there are YouTube people now that are jumping on to calling out the reprehensible, but he didn't use reprehensible, but I use that word all the time, as you know. But he was saying, you know, there's all these new channels jumping on I didn't think he said bandwagon, but he was complaining essentially that there are now new channels popping up all over the place that are calling out the stuff they're seeing on YouTube. And why would you complain about that? Like, the more the merrier. We've been a pretty small community. My channel is really unknown in the American universe, apart from Americans that have been with me for, you know, the last 5 years or have joined me in the last few years. But the more the merrier. I mean, I want everyone who can go live and talk about this stuff to do it, or put things up on your community pages. Just get the message out there. But it was almost like he was having a go at the fact that there's new channels. And see, someone like me, even though I have been calling this stuff out, both on this channel and back in the day on my many named now Tasmania Calling, but it's been Traces of Nuts, it's been Yum Tours. At one point it was my full real name. If I do somehow come to someone's attention, I'll probably be now accused of joining the band, jumping on the bandwagon, because they haven't heard of me before. And I just think it's stupid. Like, I want as many channels as possible to take a stand. I want people, I mean, this is ridiculous to say it, but I want people to be sued. I want precedents to be set in courts of law in countries all over the world, so this stuff might stop. We care about victims here. We care about facts here. And I have been scathing of anyone who creates new victims after what is already a horrible story, a horrible crime, for a long time. But if suddenly there were 30 new channels or 300 or 800, I'd be over the moon. I'd be over the moon if there was one new channel. But anyway, I haven't found Frankie's video though, Emily, but I will look for that shortly. I'm going to go for about an hour, I reckon, because I don't want to miss out on the beach stuff. Yeah, rubbing it in. I am. Don't you worry. Well, it's also explaining my appearance. So anyway, yeah, so I spread the word. You know, if there are people that want to talk about this stuff, then bring it on, because I was really surprised that he said that. And that's why I clean the bathroom quicker when I'm listening to him, because he'll say something really dumb like that, and then I get, or just, I mean, it's so anti everything we're apparently standing for, isn't it? It's like, you don't have property or ownership over this. This is about people rallying to stop the madness that we've been watching on YouTube for, some of us, for 5 years, some for more. So yeah, the more that roll in and start doing it, that's what I want. How often do we say on this channel, if we inspire one person to just go, hang on a sec, I didn't see it that way, that's actually really valid, and I agree it's abominable, I'm going to start speaking out in chats and so on, then it's worth it. I am going to the beach, but winter is coming. Winter is coming. So this is Lawyer Mystery Maven, and I'm just going to go to her. I'm just going to take me off the screen. They've now changed the full screen button. You've got to scroll down in StreamYard. It's ridiculous because that's the one I use the most. So this is her community page, and I cannot expand it, but that's all right. So an hour ago, but when Emily sent me the link, it was like 24 minutes ago, but an hour ago, she's put a little flashing light, legal news, Shanann Watts case. I actually call Shanann Rzucek now, but, you know, that's a personal thing. Legal action against online troll. So thank you to Lawyer Mystery Maven. I have put her link to her channel in my description. I'd love it if you guys could, after the live or even now, pop on over there and subscribe to her because she's really good. Like when she is in his chat, she's very handy for him in giving him all the legal information and so on. But also I just think, you know, she's one who is very passionate about calling out this crap as well. Doodle Brown, where the hell have you been? You are so late. Not to this live, just to everything. How are you? I was thinking about you the other day, Doodle Brown, because one of my friends is about to start the Understanding Dementia course. And I often, you know, anyone that's doing the course or anyone who's done it, I mention how it inspired, well, how my channel inspired someone in America to do it. And I have to refer to you in the conversation as Doodle Brown. And then they look at me and they're like, that's surely not her real name. And I'm like, it bloody well is. Her real name is Doodle Brown. I don't call penises doodles as much anymore, out of respect to you, Doodle Brown. But lovely to have you here. Missed you. Glad to see you still around. So, I'm not going to read everything out from Lawyer Mystery Maven. I'm just going to like sort of do a quick scan of it. But she pretty much has announced it on the crowdsource page that is managed by Frankie Rzucek. The family has announced officially that their attorneys have completed all the prerequisites necessary to take formal legal action in the UK against a, quote, positively identified internet troll, brackets S, close quotes. According to Rzucek, his attorneys, which include social media specialist law firm Cohen Davis, which has agreed to work for the family at a reduced rate, they served Armchair Detective with a formal letter of claim, and it's moved on to official court proceedings. So he's also been served with a claim form and particulars of claim. It's interesting, like every country has different terminology. We do have particulars of claim in Australia. They're seeking damages and an injunction for defamation and harassment. And as she says, as Lawyer Mystery Maven says, this is the first necessary step in a complex process that must occur in the UK to commence legal action. Then she just mentions the horrible murders of Shanann and Bella and Cece and little Nico, murdered by their father and husband, Chris Watts, on the 13th of August 2018. But since then, they've been subjected to heinous online attacks, defamation and harassment by many creators and individuals. She ends with, I believe this is a step in the right direction, not only for the harm done to this family, but also to ensure that true crime creators and consumers of content cover cases responsibly, ethically, and legally. In my opinion, IMO, it's about time for accountability, consequences, and an end to the harms committed against secondary victims of crime. Hell yes, sister. Yep. it's so reassuring that there are other people out there that are really against all of this crap that we've been watching happening. But this is just such good news. It's a very long time coming, but isn't it awesome? Oh, good to hear that, Doodle. And yeah, thank you for recommending it too, because it really is such, they're both great causes. If you've got live chat on, Emily, just double check that. But anywho, I can't imagine anyone on YouTube would have you blocked, Emily. You're like the Tinkerbell of YouTube. You're a little fairy flitting around. Oh my God, I learned a fact yesterday about corgis. The Welsh believed that back in the day they were like the horses for fairies. Like fairies used to ride around on their backs. And when you look at the markings on corgis, you can see what looks like a little saddle. Live is on. Well, I don't know what's happened there. But what I'm going to do next is, so Lawyer Mystery Maven mentioned Frankie Rzucek's crowdsource page. Now, back in the day, back in the day, when the family started the page, I remember it being discussed about a lot. But I couldn't remember the name of the crowdsourcing thing. So I went onto the Google machine and I just punched in, unfortunately I had to put Shanann Watts. Anyway, eventually, and I put crowdfunder, and eventually I got this article, which was from the 5th of November, 2021, which is probably back when we were chatting about it. And it provided, thankfully, a link to the crowdfunding page because it's called Crowd Justice. So this was set up back in, I'm going to just show you the article actually. If anyone's looking for new boots. Oh, you won't be. You're all heading into warmer seasons. Yeah, hopefully the blockage of the Emily can all be sorted out. But so yeah, this is how long ago. I mean, God, November 2021. Just let me get the ads off the page. Oh, come on. Thank you. I have got an ad blocker. You wouldn't know it. Some of these, this is Lab Bible, okay. But yeah, so Frankie set up the crowdfunding page, well, according to this article, it was in November, but it might have been a tiny bit before that. It talks about the whole Murders Again, obviously, but also the Netflix documentary that really pushed. So it makes me so sad they use that photo with that prick in it, but still can't look at them without just feeling so sad. Isn't it crazy? It's haunting, absolutely haunting. So yeah, a lot of people became aware of the murders. I mean, a lot of us all met because we were following the story, and many of us met initially on Facebook. I wasn't finding Facebook was providing me with enough mental stimulation in terms of discussions, and I found some of them were very skewed, and I got booted and blocked in quite a few of them. So I went wandering onto the YouTube land on my own, and I found Grey Hughes. And then I weirdly stumbled across Molly Golightly, who had 3,000 subscribers at the time. What a shame she still doesn't. I mean, my channel, this channel, someone said to me the other day, they're like, how can you have been on YouTube for 5 years and you've only got 500 subs? And I was like, ouch. This is not my bigger channel, but my bigger channel is stuck in an algorithm cul-de-sac and will never be picked up on any algorithm on YouTube ever again. This was essentially an archive channel for a podcast that I used to do, and I've started using it as a channel, and it's growing very slowly unless I talk about the Idaho 4. I had a bit of a spurt in growth, but other than that, we're just ticking along, 5 new subs, 10 new subs a week or whatever. That's fine with me. Quality, not quantity. Oh, my God, I can see the top of that black man's bloody squashed football head. Still makes me sick to think people found him hot. Ugh, anyway. So, yeah, following the release of the documentary, Frankie says he and his family have been attacked on social media by online trolls, with some people blaming his sister for her own murder. Yep. And others blaming her for murdering the girls. Rzucek wrote, these online trolls are sending us floods of threatening, bullying, and abusive messages. Doesn't this make you sick? I mean, we're aware this has been going on. But just reading it again, and I've used Frank Rzucek Sr. in one of my Stop the Madness videos, the fact that they had to come to terms with the most horrific thing imaginable should have just made everyone's heart break for them and just want to wrap them up and protect them, right? But again, whenever we cover this stuff and you see victims, secondary victims like the lawyer Maven used, but or creating new victims like with Idaho 4th with Dylan Mortensen, for example, I just can't get my head around the fact there are people out there that do this to people who are in unimaginable pain. Just disgusting. Oh, sorry, I just should go to the next paragraph. It deeply saddens us that even in times of death, in what has been the hardest time of our lives, these online trolls have gone to such lengths to dishonour my sister and my family by fabricating slanderous, callous, and outright false claims about us. This cannot continue, and we're fighting for justice. And this is an article from 2021. I'm about to go over to the crowdsourcing thing, but I'm just going through this. I'm just going to rapidly scroll past that jerk. So essentially, he went to Crowd Justice, which is a crowdfunding site to fund legal proceedings, and was aiming to raise £25,000. But, there was a target of $45,000 so that they could file this suit against the online trolls, and specifically one user who is said to have an unhealthy obsession with the murder case. And we all know who that is. Now, he's not actually named in this article, but I couldn't wait to find the Crowd Justice page and have a look. And yes, he is specifically named. Oh, look at that. Oh, my God. It just, how could anyone think that hurting these people anymore is okay? I just can't handle it. All right, let me bring up the Crowd Justice. Document. How's everyone doing in the chat? Oh, so you can't. All right, so we're still looking at the doodle Emily block. You didn't see her? Yeah, well, it's actually a glitch, I think. I've heard of a few creators recently that have had to go into their block list for someone that they said there's no way you'd be blocked here, and they were. Yeah, some people are incapable of empathy, and I don't understand how. I never will. Like if somebody in your real life is lacking empathy, but they're not diagnosed with any condition where lack of empathy is one of the markers. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of like, how can you be that way? Like you're actually choosing to not have any empathy. This isn't a chemical brain issue. This is a choice. You just don't care about other people and their suffering. What a vile way to live your life. Because unfortunately, you can't have I don't think, a well-rounded life without being affected by the good and the bad that life brings. But yeah, what shallow individuals. And just these, if this lawsuit brings about some changes, my God, it's going to be massive. And I'm going to be following it for sure. So do keep an eye out for notifications and discussions about it. Yeah, no, it's just heartbreaking, isn't it? Regardless, Emily says hello. All right. So I found, after I found that article from 2021, I found the link to the crowd justice page, and I mean, justice for suffering family of murdered pregnant mum and her children. Yeah. Little Cece. It's funny. I mean, everyone had a soft spot for them, but Cece was my little. She was my. I don't want to say favourite, but I couldn't get enough of Cece. I'm a fan of kids like Cece. I was a Cece. I'll be putting a pledge in too, but I don't want to do it while we're live because I might end up, all my credit card details or whatever might end up just being there for everyone. But I'm more than happy to chuck in some extra money for this. So Frankie writes just a description for the page. Since the cruel murder of my beloved sister Shanann and her children in 2018, my family and I have been harassed on social media by online trolls who are sending us threatening and abusive messages. So this is an update, and it was put up on March the 24th, so 2 days ago. So it is kind of breaking news, 48 hours ago. Hey, wake the truck up. Maybe that does explain why more people haven't gone over it yet, but I am kind of surprised. But anyway, next stage, court proceedings. Bring it on. Hello, everyone. This is Frankie Rzucek, by the way, for anyone wandering in now going, what's she talking about? I'm delighted to finally be in a position to provide you all with an update on how this case is going. But first, I want to express how overwhelmed I am with all your support to date. Without you all, I would never have been able to progress my claim. So it's Frankie Jr. who's filed the claim. I'm overjoyed to update you all that on the 10th of March, 2023, it's a long time coming for this family, but it's coming, guys. Justice for the Rzuceks is coming. My claim was served against the man who has been the principal cause of so much distress to me and my family, Alan Vinnicombe, the so-called Armchair Detective, in the King's Bench Division of the High Court in London. Mr. Vinnicombe is based in the UK, and that is why we've decided to bring proceedings there. I'm actually really excited that it's been brought there too, because I don't think Frankie would appreciate, or many people in the US, that all Commonwealth countries, including Australia, still get legal precedents from the UK. But interestingly, so does the US in some instances. So if this sets a precedent, this is going to be far-reaching. And that is bloody awesome. And I'm overjoyed to read this. Frankie goes on to say, I know you've all questioned why this has taken so long, but the evidence to consider in my case was extraordinary, with hundreds of YouTube videos to consider and hundreds of hours of content to view and preserve. As a result of the constant ongoing posting by Mr. Vinnicombe, the scale of the task increased yet further even after I started fundraising. My team even had to respond to a letter of claim I received in relation to allegations that I was the one who was harassing Mr. Vinnicombe. How scummy. Oh, Frankie listed it on his recent community post. Awesome. I'm glad I'm sure he would love to be on top of a mountain just yelling it out and hoping the whole world can hear it too. I'm really thrilled, though, that lawyer Mystery Maven's also put it out there. I thought I was subscribed to Frankie, but I might be on my Tasmania Calling page, which I do check in on and try to keep doing a little bit of content on there. But yeah, it'd be an amazing precedent. And that's what we need, guys. And it's so unfortunate that families have to rely on crowdfunding to fund these cases. But my God, I'll donate to every single one. I've donated to this back when it was created. But yeah, bring it on. I love that people will help them as well. I think all of us are sick and tired of seeing this, what's going on YouTube. And I just hope that other families and other people that are turned into victims, I mean, they're already victims of crime just by the fact that they knew the actual victims, but then to be re-victimized and accused of being perpetrators and so on. I really hope Dylan sues as well. And she would be going after JLR for sure. But yeah, I've got a feeling someone said she's got connections to lawyers, whether her parents are lawyers or whatever. But yeah, I hope she sues for sure. Yeah, but the cheek of bloody Armchair Detective making out Frankie's the one who's harassing. I mean, this is what sucks on YouTube too. Anyone who sticks up for themselves or speaks up for someone in their defense, the people that are ripping them to shreds accuse us of being trolls, of harassing, of being angry, of being haters. No, we're reasonable people watching something horrible unravel and we are talking about it. Everyone on YouTube's an observer with different opinions on what they're looking at. But have you noticed that? Like the good guys, I'm very mellow in the words that I use to describe the reprehensible YouTubers. I mean, I do call them death vultures. I have noticed vultures is getting used a lot all over YouTube now, and I'm taking ownership of that. It happened in one of my lives months ago. But anyway, that's another story. I feel like sometimes there's a couple of creators that I listen to and they're almost saying identical things to what I've said. And I know there's no such thing as an original thought, but I was a comedian for over 20 years and I know that we used to perform in these little clubs in Adelaide and comedians from other states would send their writers to these little clubs where we were performing and they would steal our material. I know it 100%. I think the same thing happens on YouTube. I reckon someone's keeping an eye on my tiny channel and feeding someone saying, hey, do this, say this. I can't prove it, but I mean, it's happening a lot. Anyway, let's get back to this because the surf calls. It's taken my legal team an exceptional amount of time to get the case into good shape, but we finally reached the stage where all pre-court matters have been completed. And what this means is that my team served on my harasser, Armchair Detective, a formal letter of claim, and we've moved on to official court proceedings by serving a claim form and particulars of claim, seeking damages and an injunction in a claim in a claim by me for defamation and harassment. As a result of Mr. Vinnicombe's failure to reply to correspondence or cooperate with my lawyers, we had to incur significant further costs by making an application to the court for permission to serve him by email. So Frankie's lawyers, hey, Joey. Yeah, I like that one too. That's a new one. The vulture culture. Isn't it great news? It's the best. I mean, I'm saying it's not really happy dance time yet, but my God, it kind of is, right? It really is time for a bit of a happy dance. I know. Hey, Joman. Yep, take note, others whom have done this for so long and got away. It's the start of a new world order, hopefully. I hope this sets a precedent and other people who have been victimized by YouTube creators, both on and offline, will follow suit and sue these pricks. I honestly do. I have said for a long time, it will take something like people being sued for them to maybe start thinking about what they're doing online. This is so exciting. And it's also, again, partly due to how social media law, what do they call it, cyber law, is unraveling and evolving as we speak, but it's catching up. And it's time that social media platforms were cleaned up, because there are so many people on these platforms doing the most disgusting stuff and getting away with it. And this is a move in the right direction for that stuff to stop. Bring it on. It is wonderful, blissful, absolutely. A little shuffle dance. All right, everybody do a little shuffle dance. Oops, I shuffled right off. Oh, wait a minute. Gratuitous sunny shot. The cover of her ottoman is drying in the sun right now because she made a mess. And weirdly, she's quite happy with the new cover, but it's lost. The cover holds it all together. I've literally just put like a throw rug over it. So that's what you get for messing with your favourite things, Sonny. Yeah, a little shade and gossip's one thing, but real life harassment is awful. Exactly. But wouldn't it also be, Sonny? Maybe Shanann and the girls too can, yes, exactly, can finally rest in peace. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what it's going to do is it's going to clean up social media platforms, and we're going to be left with people that have got original creative content, viewers, hopefully, because a huge part of my concern is the volume of people that want this stuff, that are hungry for it. It's going to make them either go to another platform where people are behaving badly, or they're going to shift their way of thinking and just start putting good, positive, interesting, well-researched conversations into their brains and letting all this junk float off. Now, there's always going to be a chunk of the population that wants all of the grime. And if they have to leave YouTube because no one's doing grime on YouTube anymore, bring it on. Goodbye. Go away. I don't want to be talking about you people in 5 years' time, because I can't. Every day I'm like, how do these people exist? I'm not trying to change you. I'm questioning, how can you live such soulless lives? How can you spend hours of every day of your life listening to people being vile? How is that fulfilling? If you want to change, it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you to change. I'm just saying, get off this platform. We're tired of you. Go somewhere else. Can't stand watching how destructive and vicious and nasty you all are. There's so much goodness happening on this platform, and you guys are just wiping shit all over it all the time. Just go over to TikTok. I don't know. Go somewhere. Go away. Anyway, let's keep going with the good news. Anyone that's wandering in, this is Frankie Rzucek talking on the Crowd Justice fundraiser to basically raise funds to sue people who have been harassing him and his family online, but it is specifically aimed at the Armchair Detective. No, now that paragraph I was just reading out where it says Mr. Vinnicombe's failure to reply to correspondence or cooperate with my lawyers, he actively avoided being served. That's what that's about. So what happened was they then had to go back to court and make an application for it to be approved for him to be served by email. Now, that's become a very, like the area of law that I work in, a lot of my clients are served by email now for the same thing, like dodging, avoiding service. Our legislation that we work with in my particular area of law has included emails. It's been amended now so that emailing, as long as it has a read receipt, is considered a valid method of service. But these poor guys had to actually go back to court and apply to serve him by email because he was not responding to Frankie Rzucek's lawyers or cooperating with them to be served, basically. Just another grotty little thing that he does. Frankie goes on to say, I want to thank every single person who has supported me and everyone who has sent me messages of kindness, support, and solidarity from around the world. After going through the isolating experience of losing some of my closest family members, it's reassuring to know that there are individuals out there who will go out of their way to uplift the spirits of my family and me. Be that person. Go out of your way to uplift someone's spirits. Your life will change. I mean, I know that everyone in my community, that's the sort of people we are. I'm just hoping somebody wanders into this and they're like, you're right. I need to stop bitching about Molly Golightly and I need to start uplifting people. Trust me, your life will be much happier. Further attacks from trolls. During the time it's taken my legal team to get my case to this stage, I've also been targeted online by trolls accusing my family and I from stealing money from this fundraising process. This false allegation is one which Mr. Vinnicombe has also made against me in a number of his YouTube videos. I'm very disappointed and saddened to hear these accusations that I have scammed people for money and have not put the donations towards the cause described in my fundraising efforts. I can confirm these rumours are not true. This has been written by his lawyers, by the way. Do you know how I know that? Look at how rumours is spelt. The English way. His lawyers are English. Americans, you don't put the U in rumour. But I'm glad they wrote it because it's beautifully written. But yeah, just, on top of everything that the Rzuceks have been put through by Armchair Detective, his goons, and many other channels. In addition to that, they've also accused the family of stealing from this fundraiser. You disgusting people. I will be following this case. I'll be updating it as often as I can, and I will be live when judgment's read out. Hopefully it's broadcast or there's some way I can get somebody who's tweeting from the court or something. Start chilling your champagne, guys. It's one step closer to justice, and not just for the Rzuceks who deserve it by the bucket load, but anyone else who is then able to sue because we have a legal precedent and this stuff is going to have to stop. I believe I read somewhere. Give me a second. No, I've closed it. Hey, Jen Lou. Oh, happy day. Jen Lou, Armchair Detective has been served with papers. He is being sued by the Rzuceks for bullying and harassment in the High Court in the UK. Hey, Francesca. But I read somewhere, and I can't recall where, but Nicola Bulley, the lady who went missing and tragically was found deceased in the UK only 6 weeks ago, her family are also, there's murmurings of lawsuits too. Bring it on. But yeah, so in addition to all of the online harassment and bullying and the offline harassment and bullying and all the lies that have been spread out there and the hundreds and thousands of people who've believed it and then spread it further, accusing the family of stealing the money raised for this lawsuit. Frankie goes on to say, at no point do I have any access to the money, and as with all cases funded through crowd justice, the funds go directly from the website to my legal team. I'm one of those people that's in chats writing stuff like that, and I get blocked or timed out for being a troll. I'll be like, families can't actually access those funds. Boom, I'm booted out. It's incredibly hard to call out the truth in YouTube land. Once again, isn't it weird? Like the reprehensible, vile, death vulture community of YouTube, the reasonable people come along and go, hang on a sec, he can't access that money. And we're haters. We're abusive. We're angry. We're liars. We're trolls. But it doesn't go the other way. I have a very colourful vocabulary. I'm Australian. There are words we use. We call our mates a word that the rest of the world finds highly offensive. I hold back on here a lot. a lot. I mean, this isn't a monetized channel. I could probably get away with a lot, but I also would like it to grow. I don't want it in another not comedy cul-de-sac, an algorithm cul-de-sac. I hold back, but I mean, I think about a lot of them. But when I'm discussing things on YouTube, I'm reasonable and polite. I don't even get fired up, even when someone's automatically aggressive towards me, like they were the other day with the whole Molly Go Lightly thing, where they were not actually repeating any of the facts and just carrying on like a pork chop. Some people just started blasting me from a level of anger and hatred from one comment that I'd written. It wasn't like a gradual build-up and they got more and more frustrated with me because I didn't agree with them. Their first comment to me was vicious. Vicious. You guys have all experienced it. It's unbelievable. We sure do wake the truck up. We have the best swear words in the world. I put twat muffin under something the other day and under an American clip channel, and they were all loving it. Oh no, I didn't. Sorry, no, it was a tweet from Married at First Sight. But I did put something recently under a clip channel using a very Aussie expression, and they loved it. I think they actually said they were going to pinch it. I know it's a term of endearment here. It's a term of, yeah, I think because we don't make it sound nasty, you know. It is considered very foul. But honestly, Jen Lou, if you rocked up to my house right now, I'd be like, how you going yet? And you'd be like, Tors, I love you. Anyway, I don't want to say that word during this live. I want everyone to put their bubbles on ice because we are going to be having a party. A precedent is going to be set. Whatever happens, whatever the outcome of this initial suit, it is going to start the ball rolling for a precedent. If it needs to be appealed, and I hope it doesn't. I hope the court goes, this is appalling. And they are very aware of it because, to me, it's brilliant that it's happening in the UK because the Nicola Bulley case in particular was incredibly important because it was the first case in the UK where the police had to really push for people to stop what they were doing. Like people were rocking up to the crime scene. People were walking around people's backyards with torchlights, trying to see, into people's houses. Like the police were unbelievably vocal about how full on it had gotten. And they were referring back to some other cases where this sort of social media sleuthing community had started slinking in. But Nicola Bulley's really showed how detrimental it was to proceedings and the whole country. It got to a point it was being discussed in Parliament. So this lawsuit happening in the UK, there's a movement happening there. And the beauty of that is, like I mentioned earlier, is being in a Commonwealth country like Australia, we're bound by and follow decisions from all Commonwealth jurisdictions. So this precedent is going to be very far-reaching. But also, I can't remember what case it was, but there was an American case that I was chatting about not that long ago on my channel, and a couple of the precedents are actually cited in the judgment were Commonwealth judgments. So, yeah, I think this is going to have a huge impact. See you next Tuesday. Yeah, people were vile. And the same sort of rumbling and thing is happening in Idaho, in Moscow. The same sort of stuff's going on there. It's very rare now for any live case that's been investigated to not have the police mentioning in press statements, press conferences that the people that are on social media need to be very careful about what they're doing. So, yeah, I'm so excited, guys. I mean, I hate that this has happened because of the absolute torment the rechecks have been put through. It sickens me to my core that this is what it took. But it happened. They've funded lawyers, and they've got a law firm offering to do this at a discount for them as well, which is brilliant. They're social media law, cyber law experts. This is very exciting. But again, it's disgusting that what happened had to happen for us to get to this point. But my goodness, like, don't just chill one bottle, guys. Chill many. Where was I in this paragraph? So he's explaining that, no, they didn't steal. I might just drop this link too so you guys can have a look at it later, because I will be wrapping this up very shortly, and I want you guys to be able to read it fully, because I'm not going to go through it all. But yeah, he's reassuring everyone the funds are being correctly used and they're not being stolen by him or his family. Next steps. Mr. Vinnicombe is aware of the claim. There is a court-ordered timetable in place for him formally to respond. We are now waiting to see if Mr. Vinnicombe will attempt to defend my claim or if a resolution can instead be reached. I kind of hope he's so arrogant that he's like, nah, let's go to court. Because if it's an off-the-record settlement, it's not going to set a precedent. Unless the judgment, like unless there's the terms of the settlement might be, and this is me just talking about what would happen in an Australian court, and I'm presuming, not assuming, the process will be the same in the UK because we use their system, that the terms of the settlement might be kept private, but you can also get a judgment which just goes through the facts of the matter, but whether it sets a precedent or not. Like, you really need a judgment where someone's not convicted because it's not a criminal case, but where they are basically, when they're found that there is, on the balance of probabilities, they did a bad thing. That's another thing, guys, too. Any YouTuber you're listening to who's talking about a civil case and they are talking about beyond a reasonable doubt, don't know what they're talking about. The test in a civil case is on the balance of probabilities. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. Important distinction. So, yeah, what will Armchair Detective do? The next steps will be dependent on how Armchair Detective responds, but if he chooses to defend the claim, which he has previously indicated online he would do, then I will need to push ahead with the court process. This is a complicated area of law. It is, because it's an evolving area of law, and will involve significant further work by the lawyers I have instructed, whatever happens next. I'll be able to share more detailed information about the case once a formal response has been received. Then he thanks the lawyers. They are now trying to stretch the fundraising out to £75,000. The goal initially was 45, because they now have outstanding invoices from the legal team, and also they need to be funded up for whatever Armchair Detective decides to do, which is why as soon as I'm this live, I'm going to donate. You've all played a vital role in helping to stop this abuse, and your support will be forever appreciated. After all the grief my family and I have gone through, we wish to just move forward without being harassed, defamed, and linked to baseless conspiracy theories every day of our lives. Shanann and the girls died in 2018. It's going to be 5 years in August. Every single day of the Rzucek's lives, they've had to deal with this shit that's been generated by nobodies on YouTube. Because that's what we all are. Like, don't get me wrong. There's some amazing people on YouTube. But we're not running countries. We're not running corporations that change the world. Many of us are bringing skills and talents to YouTube. But all of this harassment and bullying and everything has all just been stirred up on a social media platform by people that, for whatever reason, appeal enough to the masses, and I never will because I'm too reasonable, and all of their followers think whatever that comes out of their mouth is valid and important and correct, And half of these people haven't worked most of their lives. I mean, I think AD has actually worked. But have a look at the current stuff going on in the drama community. So much time being spent critiquing every word that's coming out of all of their mouths. But at the end of the day, what do any of them do to make this world a better place? What have any of them done that's constructive? And don't say, oh, Molly Golightly does fundraisers for St. Jude's. Anyone, once they get over 10,000 subscribers, can do that on YouTube. That didn't take skill. It took buying subs. Oh, did I say that? Anyway, back to this before we wrap up. I want to send a clear message to Mr. Vinnicombe and others. Yes, don't forget the others. My goal is to hold Mr. Vinnicombe to account so that other vulnerable families will not suffer as mine has. Sadly, we all know many people who have suffered as well. If this stops is happening in the future, it's going to be a great thing. Now I just had Kylie Rodney's mum flashing into my mind. But I'm grateful for all your continuing support, and I'll be back with an update very soon. Love, Frankie. So there you go, guys. The Armchair Detective has avoided Frankie's lawyers to be served with paperwork, and they had to take it back to court to get permission to serve him by email because he refused to cooperate or accept service. Not surprised. Not surprised at all. Quick look at hi, Alicia Marie. This type of case is very complicated, expensive, and has absolutely no guarantee of a good outcome. I wish more people would realise this. People seem to have forgot that. I don't know if you're suggesting that I've forgotten that, because I just talked about what might happen with it. And it's not what I'm happy about, Alicia, and I might be getting your message wrong, is that the lawsuit, they've got enough evidence and information to go ahead. It's a start in the process of getting justice for families. Like, to be honest, even YouTubers just talking about this lawsuit could put the fear of God in some people that have been irresponsible, like Armchair Detective has. If ultimately we end up with a precedent, that's going to be amazing. But the ball is rolling in the right direction. So, yeah, to be honest, even though Armchair Detective is being cocky and saying he won't plead guilty, when he plead guilty, but he won't settle the matter prior to it going into court, I have a feeling once he finds out how much the lawyers are going to cost him and so on, he may very well settle it out of court. But it's still a step in the right direction. But the other thing, it's nice to have you here, Alicia Marie, but the other thing is that not many people are even talking about this yet. So I'm not sure who's forgotten that. There's so many potential outcomes with this. I just think the fact that it's got to this point is definitely, like I said, don't do your biggest happy dance yet, but it's definitely a shuffle dance moment, right? Hey, Nicola. I have what is the date of the, see, I'm so behind in chat now. That statement from Frankie was the 24th of March, 2 days ago, if that's what you mean. Dave and Mensa. Is Mensa still even around? Well, it's certainly going to get people talking. So, you know, it's been filed in the court. The court hasn't gone, no, that is vexatious and frivolous, and we're not going to serve anyone with that paperwork. It's in the system now. So that is a victory. Might only be a little one, but I'm a very big believer in celebrate the small victories. So many people have said so many bad things on here. He worked. I saw him on that restaurant reality show. Huh? It is great news. Thank you for alerting me to this, Emily. Thank you, Blissful. Oh, this was great. Thanks. That's actually a weird comment. I don't know what anyone's talking about now. I'm just going to scroll down. Joman says, it doesn't really matter what the outcome will be. The fact a trial is made may work as deterrent. Yep. For the general population, people with common sense to think twice before making a comment. Exactly. And that's where we're happy dancing. I'm not optimistic enough. I know. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I work in the court system. I'm not expecting this lawsuit to be the holy grail, the golden egg that we're all going to be able to go, look at what happened in Rzucek versus Vinnicombe. I'm well aware of how long it's going to take to get precedents, but just the fact that this lawsuit's happening is a precedent too. Just the fact that it's now in the courts. And like I said, the court didn't look at it and go, because this is what they do before it's a bit like preliminary hearings, but in the civil world, they will look at things and they'll go, this is frivolous and vexatious. There's no legal issue here. This is someone with a grudge just filing all this angry paperwork thinking we're going to go, yep, let's bring it on. Let's list it for hearing. They scrutinise it. So the fact that it's in. But yeah, anyone surprised Armchair Detective dodged being served? AJ is not going to win this. Give my best to Turtle Brown. Armchair was on a restaurant reality show. Huh. Yeah, Critical K and JS for Justice. They're being sued. As well. Yeah, he's a dodgy dodger. What a piece of trash. But once again, too, just thank you to Emily for bringing it to my attention and also acknowledging lawyer Mystery Maven, who's put it up on her community post. And also, I'll just go over to Frankie Rzucek saying, I'm just going to drop lawyer Mystery Maven. I mean, I can kind of see like the reason I'm excited. I think Alicia might have left. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me. Sometimes, Alicia, I read a comment and I'm not sure if you're responding generally or to something I've literally just said. So I apologize if I went off on a tangent that wasn't what you meant. But I can just see if this gets out, if enough people talk about it, you can see people in chats going, you might want to tone down what you're saying because Armchair Detective is literally now being sued by the Rzuceks for this kind of behaviour. That's where the little happy dance is for me. They don't care about what goes on in the real world. I mean, some of these channels that make out to be true crime, but it's whatever's going on in a courtroom, they don't give a shit about. Have you noticed that? It's bizarre. But they'll listen to each other in chats. So if you've got one of these Death Vulture YouTube creators live and crapping on, hopefully someone will be like, oh, be a bit careful about saying stuff like that because AD's now officially being sued by the Rzucek family for bullying and harassment. You might want to rethink what you're saying. Or even just them mentioning it in chat, everyone else will be like, what do you mean? Is that really happening? You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to have a positive ripple effect. Restaurant inspector. Was he the cockroach found in the kitchen? Alicia, I appreciate your comment. I feel like you've gone because you haven't responded again. But I genuinely like what you said. But it was just potentially me just not getting. Though when you get to know me, you'll know that unless I stick with chat, and it's really hard if I'm on a different screen. I often see comments and I'm thinking it's something I'm talking about at that point when I go back and see it, not something that was talked about 10 minutes ago. Frankie Rzucek Jr. So I'm just going to his community. Yeah, so he's posted this a day ago. Hi to a few other people that have cruised on in. Okay. I wasn't subscribed to him over on here, so I am now. All right, full screen up. Just quickly have a look at Frankie's post. A quick wrap up if there's any more comments, and then the sun. Oh my God, the waves are getting bigger. Woohoo! Thank goodness for wetsuits, groovers. Oh, here it is. Okay, the blue square. I couldn't find Frankie's page. All right. Here's the update. So this was a day ago. Here's the update for my court proceedings in the United Kingdom. Thank you for everyone for your overwhelming love and support. A man is only as good as his word. God bless you all. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. The online abuse, cyberbullying, and defamation is going to stop. Yes. Stop the madness. Let's just see comments. I'm hoping that everybody is. Oh, there's his mum's. Yeah, I can. I can expand YouTube. Good. So Sandy's Kitchen is Sandra Rzucek, his mama. Baz just said you guys down there are outcasts now, only Liberal state in Australia now. Well, we're always the opposite of the mainland. When it's actually weird for there to be a federal Liberal government. I mean, there's not. So but we did have a federal Liberal government and a state Liberal government at the same time. But usually whoever is the federal party in power, we're usually the opposite. The reason we've still got a Liberal government is because under the current Liberal government, Tasmania had the fastest growing economy 3 years in a row in Australia, and a premier who since resigned after the last election, but he carried the island through COVID like an absolute rock star. The Cannabis Party. All right. Hopefully there aren't any nasty comments in here. I'm just going to do a little quick scan because, what have I done? Oh. Yeah, okay. So we won't be expanding again anytime soon. Where's the community page gone? Over here. I'm just... hang on. Give me a moment. My stomach is rumbling too. Me with my fancy touchscreen laptop. I'll just refresh. Hang on. There we go. Now I can bring it back up. And I'm not going to expand it. I think, I'm just doing a quick scan to make sure there isn't anyone that's gone on there and added to, perpetuated the hate further. There's usually one in the crowd. I'm doing this partly just for my own benefit, that I can rest knowing people are being decent enough. Please hold. Is that because I'm struggle streaming? No, it's me and my fingers having fun expanding my screen, but I went too far. All right. Quick little look here, just to restore our faith that there are only good people commenting. Excellent update. Well done, Frankie. Yep, everyone's being very supportive. You deserve peace through this. Big army of love and support from the heart. Yeah, people are happy. People are happy. Maybe this is who Alicia's sort of, I don't know. Because, yeah, it's worth celebrating it's got to this point, in my humble opinion. If and when there is a precedent set with a judgment, there will be a massive party. But this is a step in the right direction. Yeah, everyone's been incredibly supportive. But it's also proof, someone just mentioned how long it took. The course to justice is slow, and it's a long road. Yeah, people are being supportive. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Because, yeah, lots of love and congratulations and brilliant news and well dones, and I'm so happy for yous. I was, if there was someone on here who said something inappropriate, I was going to attack them. No, I wasn't. I was just going to point out how horrible they are. It's a start, guys. It is a start. It is a step in the right direction. She would be, I think, very proud of her little brother. You're making pineapple tacos. Well, that sounds delicious. What is this, says Joey. I must know. Yeah, what are they? What are pineapple tacos? I nearly removed myself. That wouldn't be a bad thing. Pineapple tacos. Oh, so they're like you can do pulled chicken or pulled pork, but you just add pineapple on top to the, Oh my God, they look good. I'm so hungry now. I loves me a pineapple. But I think we all, if you don't like pineapple, find an equivalent to a pineapple taco and eat that and just be happy that we are witnessing change. Baby steps, peeps. I can't imagine losing loved ones and people on YouTube. I can't either at all. And then you get the people that you give it a whirl. Yeah, they look good, don't they? You get the people that say, well, all of the victims shouldn't be on YouTube or social media. If they don't want to hear us being horrible, they shouldn't be on here. I'm sorry. No, they should, because if I lost a family member and found out that 50 million YouTubers were talking about it, I'd want to know what they're saying. Knowledge is power. And for a lot of them too, like people that were writing really horrible comments under Shanann's videos on her Facebook page were the sorts of people that were saying, well, they shouldn't be on social media. Her Facebook page was where her family went to watch all those videos and look at all the photos. You should not have been on her social media page. That was a place for them to go. I've lost a lot of friends who've got Facebook pages up, and I go and have a look at them. I often leave little messages on there. I see messages that other people have left. I love that people haven't forgotten them, that it's a place where we can all go and pour our hearts out. If we're having a sad day and we're really missing them, there'll be somebody else on there who's said something recently or put something beautiful up or found a photo or something that makes you feel better. Don't you dare tell families of victims to stay off social media. Don't go on victims' social media, and don't use other social media platforms to create new victims from an absolutely horrific tragedy. I can't stand that kind of, is that cancel culture? Is that what that is? Like even with the recent Mallory Molly Go Lightly thing, if I hear one more creator or see one more comment like, well, if you don't like them, you shouldn't watch them, don't watch them. It's that simple. No, we're all consuming the things that we see, the content that we see on this social media platform, And some of you might just want to go to rainbows, lollipops, and unicorns. That's your call. As part of a community, I'm keeping my eye on all of it, the good and the bad and the ugly. And I'm going to speak up about the bad and the ugly. I'm not hate watching them. I'm keeping an eye on people that are behaving like absolute assholes. I want to know what's going on in the community I'm spending time in. I'm not just going to be hanging out with the buddies and like having a great time. And if there's crap going on in your real life, in your workplace, at home, with your family and friends, you talk about it. Why should it be any different on YouTube? Joe's having a ciggy. Cerebellum Quandary. What a fantastic name. Hello, welcome. I'm glad you found us. He has gotten a lot of backlash from victim bashers that are trying to intimidate. I said right at the start of this that they have been put through more than most people will ever have to endure just from what that prick did to his beautiful wife and children. That in itself is so horrifying that most decent people, their instinct is to protect them and say, I can't imagine what you're going through, but I'm here for you. You've got my support. That's a natural reaction of anyone who has any empathy. All this other stuff that has been piled onto them, it's just downright cruelty. And so unnecessary and so vile. We do have to watch Our Neighbourhood. It is a great name. It's reminding me of isn't there a singer with Bellum in there? Is it? Oh. I love your name anyway. It's like people expect victims to have been perfect. They're just people, but they had people that love them and should be respected. Yeah, absolutely. Truth Justice put your video on her. Who's Truth Justice? I do not know this person. Truth Justice. I must be on the algorithm, guys. For the first time. I do have another channel, Sarah, that is in an algorithm cul-de-sac. Truth Justice. Bless. Oh, I'm now subscribed to Truth Justice. Thank you, Truth Justice. Beware of my YouTube clones. What? She's got people that clone her? Let's put a little note. Thank you so much. Wow. See? It's good on the YouTubes. That was very exciting. Thank you so much. Hello, Scout. Here's a gratuitous sunny shot. What's changed? The cover to her ottoman is missing. She's now lying on a throw rug on top of the ottoman cushion, which is not holding its shape because it doesn't have its cover because she made a mess on it this morning. Sunny, Andy Scout's in chat. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. You got the first name from Powder Puff Girls character. Okay. Well, it's a great name, and it's lovely to have you here. Does a lot of videos on AD. Yeah, one of the last videos I did on AD was when he was on Small and he took everyone into the bathroom with him. I have talked about him a fair bit on this channel and my other channel, which sort of became this bit of everything and it just didn't have any focus. And now it's in an algorithm cul-de-sac anyway. So please tell he got food. Yeah, in fact, speaking of, it is kind of food time for us. Well, it's definitely for me. My stomach's been rumbling the whole time I've been live. Thank you so much, guys, I should have got out of my gym gear. This top's not sitting well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And yeah, I appreciate everyone that's come in. She's showing no remorse at all. Well, I'm getting the death stare. She's like, where's my cushion cover? And I'm like, well, you messed it up, kiddo. Thank you to all the new people who rolled in too. Alicia, I'm really sorry if your comment was taken out of context, but it did generate some comments that I think are valid, which is we're not dancing through the streets claiming victory at all. As a lawyer, I'm very aware of the slow process that justice is. But the fact that the court deems this to be a valid lawsuit is a victory in itself. So yeah, let's all just do a little wiggly dance for now, and the happy dancers are on their way, whether it's this particular matter or another matter in the future. Even if people just start talking about it in communities and pointing out that a lawsuit is underway. We've also got the TikToker lawsuit, the TikToker who's been sued by the professor from the University of Idaho for being accused of masterminding the murders, the Idaho 4 murders. So there's stuff happening, and it's exciting. This is the area of law that I am very passionate about. So yeah, it is exciting, but I always say don't pop the top till there's a signature on the paper. It is definitely a step in the right direction. I just wish victims of horrific crimes didn't have to be put through so much hell for this to be happening. But it is. You're a new sub. Thank you so much. And please thank Truth Justice. Hopefully I'll get an alert of a new video or something, and I'll definitely keep an eye on her channel too. I really appreciate you guys being here so much. And, yeah, just remember out there, we're all part of this crazy community. Celebrate the good, but keep an eye on the bad too. Until next time, don't get hit by, don't get struck by a smooth criminal. See you all again very soon.
DJ Gorbacha. Smooth